Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another awesome live stream with Development Team 1. You don't have a name yet, do you?
We're working on it, yeah.
They're working on a name, but we're going to show you some really awesome stuff today. Before I introduce the team, we do have a schedule, which we'll put up on the screen right now. Today we're going to be talking about Tuska and the World Event. We have Boss Practice Mode. Covered Chris there. Covered you with the schedule. Boss Practice Mode, Demon Flash Mobs, and then we also have questions on all of them. Happy to answer any questions, pretty much any questions.
Yeah, definitely.
So you can ask them in a Twitch chat throughout. We'll have a question and answer session after each small subsection. And you can also ask them on Twitter at the hashtag RSTV. I guess we should introduce you guys next. We'll start over here.
Okay, so...
Mod name.
Mod name... well, no, mod name is Mod Avatar. Content developer on Scrum Team 1.
I'm Mod Deg. I'm the same thing as him.
Cute. I'm Mod Chriselle, principal content developer for Scrum 1 and product owner.
So I guess with the schedule, it kind of shows you guys what you're working on, but what have you been working on? Because last time you were on, we went over some of the Christmas events and things.
Yeah, it would have been pre-Christmas, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's a while back.
And your tinsel trains, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
I remember
tinsel
actually, yeah, we had Snowverload, tinsel trains,
And the,
snowboarding.
Oh,
yeah,
Snowverload, that was a big
Nice,
one.
nice little clan avatars.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of back-to-back releases
Oh, you
over
made this.
December.
Oh, you made the small clan avatars. Everyone mental.
Mod
So
Avatar,
there you go.
Avatar.
They're all out now.
Kind of appropriate with the name as well. I like it. So today we're going to be jumping straight into Tuska and the World Event. I guess I'm going to ask you my
Take
own
your block
questions
now.
first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
Oh yeah,
Tuska.
so in the background we do have a picture of Tuska. The Tuska came up at
Oh,
RuneFest 2014.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about when it first came up, what the concept was, what the idea was back then? I imagine it's changed a lot since then.
Well, the basic idea was Mark went on the stage and scared all of the developers about his plans for what Tuska should do to the game, and then players got interested in it, so we had to think about what we're actually going to pull off, and hopefully you guys can see we've been pretty adventurous with what's going to be hitting like early summer this year.
Cool.
And it's keeping us very, very busy.
Just talking, mentioning at RuneFest, you say that Mark's scared all the developers. This is when he does his talk for the next year, so he does his big talk for the next year in RuneScape. I've been told, or I've heard rumours, that that's where all the developers find out what they're going to be working on, pretty much. Is that how it goes?
Yeah, there's a plan, but then Mark's known for getting excited, so we generally find out exactly a bit more detail when he's on stage, but yeah, keeps us all on our toes.
Okay, so I guess we'll kick it off with the big one. Who is Tuska?
Well, Tuska is a giant blind boar god.
So he's a god. Ooh.
She's a god.
She's a god.
He's a god. She's shown up before. She had a battle with Guthix, which led to the destruction of his home world. And she sort of travels from world to world, consuming the anima mundi, which is the sort of energy generated by life.
Is that the life force of planets, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Cool. So you just eat worlds, basically.
That's basically in a nutshell, yeah.
Yeah.
Where will we see Tuska?
So this is where it gets interesting. So Tuska's obviously this massive.
I mean, if she
god.
eats planets, she's got to be pretty big, right?
She's huge.
We've got a graphics department that can attest to how big she is.
They've had fun with her. But
Alright, that's a
Hey,
different
Mod
strain.
Avatar.
but yeah, basically Tuska's like plummeting through space at the moment. She's sort of going through various like tears in reality between different planets and stuff. She's devouring planets as she goes, and basically she sort of hunts out the anima mundi of planets in the universe, sort of like a shark would sort of sense blood in the ocean sort of thing. So with the recent demise of Guthix, the Edict Shield has dropped around Gielinor, and it's like made the anima mundi like susceptible to her senses, basically. So
Okay.
she's now directing herself at Gielinor, and she's
So she's
coming to-
sensed the, what's the word you use exactly? Anima mundi.
yeah, the anima mundi
Anima
of
mundi.
So the
Gielinor
life
is
force of
Okay.
planets.
So
Yeah.
that's now exposed after Guthix's death.
And sort of
so
divination
she's-
ties to it as well.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
yeah. She's now on a collision course with Gielinor, but so the kind of problem that we've got is because she devoured Guthix's planet, some of the kind of the powers of the anima mundi of Guthix's homeworld is given her a similar sort of edict shield. So she's basically shielded from gods and god power. So the gods can't do anything about Tuska, now that she's sort of coming towards Earth.
So it sounds very dangerous.
Yeah, they
we're
need to.
We're not holding back on like the scale of this one. Like I think it's a very literal. She's coming right for the planet. Like Fred said, it's been exposed. That's what she hunts. That's what she eats. And now Gillenor's her target, and she's finally arrived in like the system, and she's coming straight for the planet. And it's all about getting to Tuska, which we'll cover in a second, and preventing it or not preventing it. As Mark said on the stage, it's something that you might not win.
So let's go into like the World Event S side of it, but before we do, you've described a little bit about the backstory. Is there any more lore that the kind of lore-focused players will be able to look at about origins, planets eaten before Guthix's homeworld, etc.?
Oh, well, there's a big story that we can't spoil quite yet about the backstory of that. However, there is obviously more lore involved in the actual World Event. We're not leaving factions out of this. Like I said, we're going, and like Mark said on the stage back at RuneFest, it is a very all versus one situation with this. Usually there's like the whole picking sides, and sometimes that leads to gameplay issues with, I'm going to side with Bandos because he has better rewards than Armadillo, or whatever. So we're really trying to make it about, it's like humanity's effort to save itself this time. So it's really kind of interesting that everyone bands together as one, including the gods. It's sort of like a God Wars story with Next, like they sort of, that point in time where they banded together to prevent a threat. Obviously this one's on a scale much larger than that. And like Fred said, there's a shield around it. The gods can't physically interact with Tuska, so they're the players and
the players are
humanity
effectively Gillenor's only hope.
Only hope, yeah, exactly. We've still got the gods represented though. So even though you're fighting in the name of like saving the planet, if you're so inclined, you can still represent your faction. So we've still got Armadillo, which we're quite excited about because obviously he's quite a front runner. He's above most of the other gods in the old tiers.
Yep.
We've got Saradomin returning from World Event 1. Obviously, he's had a win in the past. And then we've got Zamorak, which is interesting, underdog, because obviously he's a bit of a strange character still. He's sort of lost the first World Event. Is he depowered? Exactly where he stands in the balance. And then we've obviously got Zamorak Heist, which is going to give a bit more bit of Zamorak stuff in it as well. And then finally we've got the Godless. They're sort of pretty popular with World Event 2, and it's an interesting faction, and we've put our own spin on it. Thanks a lot to the players.
It's a slightly different faction, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a very different faction. They're not sort of against gods. Like it's a weird one. Like they don't like gods, but I think it's more they don't like gods who interfere and get involved. They don't hate gods specifically.
Yeah, they don't.
It's a very weird one to explain. Yeah,
they don't feel that any like one being should have so much power and be in so
I think
much
it's the
control.
whole thing of a god is it's the control. I think they could have a god as long as the god is sort of impartial still. It's a very weird one, but they're an interesting faction to explore. And thanks to the forum thread that Mod Harrison's put up, we're going to do something quite interesting with them as well to hopefully gain them a bit of popularity.
Take actual player feedback on board.
Oh yeah. We haven't actually replied to the thread yet because we've been full steam on it, but we check it regularly, and we're already integrating feedback into the World Event from it, so it's quite exciting. One
thing I will bring up, it might be obvious to a lot of players, but you mentioned Armadillo, Saradomin and Zamorak there. Original God Wars Dungeon-esque release bosses, but no Bandos there.
Well, Bandos.
I mean, it might be obvious to most players, but
poor Bandos.
That's why.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain why? Do you want to explain why? Just to the players know.
Well, if you weren't following us, Bandos is down and out.
Yeah.
World Event 2, Armadillo 1. Oh, we've got a question there actually. Will I be able to join Tuska's forces? I'm a Bandosian who seeks... Oh, Bandosian's great. Currently, we're not allowing people to side with Tuska because of the general threat against the entire planet. However, I won't say exactly what, but there is ways you can sort of side with her in quite an apocalyptic sense.
So if you're siding with Tuska, then you're kind of accepting your own fate.
Yeah, so the basic premise of it is you're working to do your world event sort of stuff. You are trying to aim to save the planet. You obviously have like contribution faction scores and all that, but you are representing a faction as you go. Because you're fighting against Tuska, you can't represent Tuska. However, there are follow-up points of this which will lead into more being involved in Tuska if you so choose.
We've talked for a little bit. Do you want to show some of the concept art? We do have some cool concept art.
Yeah, what have we got first?
So we've got over the screen first. We'll put up, this is the so we've taken it for the background, but this is the actual where it came from.
Yeah.
The original piece of concept art. Do you want to say anything about it?
Yeah, so it gives you a sense of scale there. You can see Saradomin's silhouette on the right. The Tuska in the top right, people have probably seen that was the concept we went with at RuneFest. I think the other bits
there's a large
be
one
new.
at RuneFest.
Yeah, she was like stomping around. But the other ones might be new to you. Like it gives quite a good close-up on her face there in the back. A lot of this is still actually changed. This is actually what we're going to see. This is actually not just a concept art. This is a UV texture on the real sculpt of the model. So that's not an in-game shot, but that's how it will look in theory. The guy, that's a paint over, but that is actually the real model. So that's not just a picture.
And we're going to be doing a walkthrough of that in game, aren't we?
Yeah, it's not as pretty as that yet, but we'll give you a sense.
That's a nice
of
thing.
the
We get to see it whilst it's in.
Yeah, we're really excited to come back in like 5 weeks or whatever and do before and
a little
afters. Yeah, so that I really like that picture because it gives a really good sense of the colour scheme and just the size of it as well when we see a player on it.
So I guess the next question is, how do we take Tuska on? Like, how will the players take her on?
Well,
I mean, if she's hurt, okay. So I'm here thinking. From what you said so far, right? I'm thinking. She's hurtling into the world, into the planet. She's coming, as you said, she's coming straight at the planet and going to eat it. Gonna need to stop her before she gets here. That's what I'm thinking.
Would be a good idea.
That's a general idea.
I mean, you've used the word collide a lot, and I don't think the players standing on one side of Gilnor and waiting for it to come is going to do much use. So, yeah, how are we going to take her on?
well, if you manage to get your ranged level high enough and pull really far back, no. So there are a group of wizards who have seen the situation and they've said, no, this is my time, I can shine. They're calling themselves astromancers. Haven't had a lot of use for astromancy before, but now we need it.
Okay.
So they've figured out a way to teleport off of Gillinor and to Tuska, and they're going to send themselves and players, and they're going to sort of infiltrate. I don't want to say infiltrate her because that's the worst thing, but I have nothing else, so I'm going to have to say it.
It's too late now, you've committed.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, the thing that excites me there is you just mentioned players and going to Tuska off Gillinor, which is...
Yeah, the idea being she's so large and there's going to be like parasites, sort of, you know, like... was like pigs have like the little things that just keep them clean and stuff like that. So it'd be sort of like she doesn't really notice something so small as a player. So the cool thing of that is you can like infiltrate and like, you know, attack when you get there. So it's a very sort of, it's kind of cool.
I mean, there's only very few other instances that you go off Gillinor usually within the quest area.
Yeah,
so
you got like Freneske and
yeah. So
well, there are a few that people don't remember, like Zonaris is technically off-world.
Take it for granted or anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty cool. You talked about and then world event activities. You've kind of mentioned.
We've got a
kind of
concept for this one actually. If you want to throw up the island,
You want to show the island?
Have some
Okay.
island concept here.
So we have an island concept.
Yeah.
So basically, we've already said that Tuska is absolutely huge. Like with the previous picture of the up against Saradomin, like that's the big Saradomin. So she's for scale. So she's pretty big. But so she's effectively got her own gravitational pull around her because she's so massive, and so she's been hurtling through space, smashing bits of planet off and stuff. So she's got these like asteroids that are orbiting her. This one of the concepts.
So is that what this is then?
We've got
Right,
so
cool.
It's just part
basically
of a planet that's sort of caught in. You know,
so these as Dave was saying, the astromancers are going to be on Tuska's back along with the players, and they're going to bring these asteroids into alignment around her, and we're going to send the players up onto these asteroids, and the asteroids are going to have various activities on it, and this is where the kind of the world event activity stuff's going to happen, and it's where you're taking part in those activities where you're going to get like your currency and stuff for the various world event rewards and bits and pieces. Yeah, this is some of the concept for one of the specific islands.
See some lightning there in the middle.
Yeah. It's like a cosmic storm, isn't it?
It's like a big storm going on, and these asteroids are sort of floating around in it and stuff. We're not going to go too much into the actual activities. We'll save that for now. But you are going to be on these different asteroids doing different bits and pieces. So it should be really good. Should be really interesting. It's quite exciting.
Seems really. One thing I will note, I see a lot of questions in the chat. We have saved a lot of questions. We will be answering them in a few minutes. We'll answer them after we've gone through kind of the general gist of everything we want to say.
We might answer one, yeah.
And then we will answer all of your questions. Don't worry, you'll still have a chance to ask them about Tuska and the world event. One thing I was going to say is it seems on a new level to the world events we've seen before. Like it's really going.
Yeah, I mean we've got
outside of I guess the comfort zone of current world events of what we've had in the past.
I mean we thought. Yeah, we wanted to have a fresh angle to it. It's the first time I think any of us have actually like been full on a world event. I think we've all supported in bits and pieces in the past, but obviously we wanted to make it our own. We wanted to sort of embody how big Tuska is and how big of a threat she is. So we're playing on a lot of new sort of things, and we're pushing the tech quite hard in places. Like these islands that Fred mentions we'll cover in a later stream. You'll see the entire environment can animate in and out, so you really get the impression like you're on these islands that are being moved by these astronauts.
The way I see it kind of like RuneScape, Joe, when you move from island to
It's
island,
sort of
like
like
that,
RuneScape
but we're
on
going to have like islands moving.
rather than using bridges to walk across, you're there and you've got like a certain amount of time before the island will like collapse in on itself, and then the next one rolls in and you got like transition across. The whole point we didn't actually cover on there was if you remember the first concept art where actually you got it behind us. So see this? Hold on, Dave. I'm just going to get a little bit closer. Yeah, see this? There's like a weak spot here, just above Deg. And as you can see from the back there, it's not the easiest thing to get from the back to the front of Tuska. So the whole point is we're going over. Like, the stuff you're not seeing there is in like a cosmic storm, like we've been saying. So they send you that off the side, and then you infiltrate from above, and then you get to stab her, which is my next point. So the whole reason you're doing the islands as well is there's the whole Tuska thing. Like Anima Mundi hunter #1, and we should cut on that.
Yeah.
So she's got all this stuff in her orbit. That's all like infused with remnants of these planets, and like there's this whole anima sort of feeling going on there. So there is still some remnants of it in those floating islands that you're getting around there. And there's been a new sort of god weapon thing that you have to charge with the Anima Mundi itself to bypass through her shields to stab this weak point I just talked about. So in every island event, you'll be charging up that weapon to finally arrive at the front and like stab her in the name of your god, which will count as like a point of damage against Tuska is how we're visualising it.
We do have a picture of the weapons. Do you want to show them?
Yeah, let's show. There it is. So as you can see,
Awesome.
we're going all versus one, but here's the sort of we're going sort of God Swordish with it.
So we can see different factions there with the kind of hilt-esque.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, you do different.
I think that's the charged version as well. I haven't actually spoke to the concept artist about what the uncharged version is. I imagine like the fancy blue bits are like going to be added on when you've fully charged it, I imagine. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. I think that'll be like a cosmetic override as well.
Yeah, I think that's the idea. But we want to make sure that no matter what faction you represent, you'll be able to get all of them. So people aren't going to have to worry with like faction hopping and stuff to make sure they get all the rewards this time. You can just kind of take part in the event and represent whichever faction you want to represent, and that's what you can do.
And the whole scale and cinematic angle of this sort of stuff, we're going to try really go cool with the spear. Like think of it as like a Maul of Omen sort of. It's a big deal weapon. It'll probably be a really a satisfying blow, and you knock her in the face with it. So, well, it's not that big, but stabbing her would be pretty cool.
And then the last thing I want to bring up was consequences. You mentioned earlier if you win. If you beat Tuska.
Well, yeah, like you can deal a point of damage every time you stab her, but obviously that leads into...
In world events before, where you kind of choose a side, one side's going to win, and half the players have chose one side, roughly half have chose the other side, and one side's going to win. This one we're kind of banding together, so can we lose as players?
Certainly. And I fully hope you do. No, that's not true.
I don't know, I do.
Okay. So basically... every day of the world event could be sort of thought of as a round, and either players win or Tuska wins. So there'll be a daily goal of Gillinor has to do this much damage to Tuska, and if they do that, cool. And at the end of the world event, whoever won more days, Gillinor or Tuska, will sort of determine...
Will the damage per day change? Or is it
so she'll sort of... if players are performing very well, then Tuska will sort of adapt to that. But I don't think we want to go too much.
In more ways than one,
yeah.
Cool. We still leave some things.
Yeah, we've got to hold some other streams.
It's like they were saying, like we've got these kind of tallies up and whoever wins stuff, but the actual consequences of it are definitely real. We are genuinely taking into consideration that players can lose this. They definitely can lose this event, and Tuska can win.
It is interesting.
With the world event thing,
if we lose, then surely she eats the world.
This is it. The whole thing with world events there's a lot of trust in us that we're not just fiddling the numbers and the bars behind the scenes, and we've honestly planned and designed for both. I think there's actually 3 outcomes, like Tuska winning, players winning, and something else I can't talk about. But so we've planned for what we need to do to make all of those reality, and we're just excited about pretty much every ending is cool, and excited for us.
Awesome.
Not just to mention.
I guess it genuinely does leave the fate in the players' hands.
Yeah, exactly.
It
in
really
more ways
does.
than one as well. Even if they win, you got to think about where that corpse is heading. Still. So there's another follow-up. There's lots of angles to play, and we're quite committed to making it pull off.
There's going to be quite a lot of player input irrelevant the outcome. Like even if Tuska technically wins, there's going to be, we've got stuff for players to influence, how well she might win or what happens if she does win. So there's multiple stages of what could happen. So
oh yes, and I feel like I should just drop in here and say shout out to the forum thread and Reddit threads and lots of things I mentioned about Virago. Yes, he is like Anima Mundi defender #1. So
I have a question about that. But okay, cool.
Oh, don't worry, I've seen it plenty. We haven't addressed it yet.
But I've seen
lots and lots of requests for it, and he will feature in this world event. He's said he's going to defend Ginanor against threats, specifically gods as well, and he's very Anima Mundi related. So, as the players have picked up on, there's a lot of strong ties there. So you can expect to see Virago don his battle armor for this one, so to speak.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's going to be exciting.
Anyway, we're going to let you're going to show us a walk around of the back of Tuska now. So while we send Chris away, I'm just going to quickly mention that you can ask questions as soon as Chris gets back after the walk around of Tuska. It's going to be fairly short, but afterwards we are going to answer the questions, so you can ask them in the Twitch chat, and you can also ask them on Twitter with the hashtag RSTV. Anyway, we're going to jump over to Chris now, who's going to show you the walk around.
So, not as great as the concept art, I'm sure you're saying, but as you can sort of see, this is Tuska's back. We're actually going to have a lodestone for nice accessibility. So everything you see, just a quick disclaimer, it is very placeholder. It's very white. It's not been textured yet. But you can sort of see the scale and the size we're going for here. So this is where you sort of arrive, and then you're going to have your sort of sign up to your faction guys over here. We're actually on Tuska's back, so this is like her back hips here. And then up there you can see the base of her spine going up, and that's her shoulder blades over there. And then you can sort of see the quills. I'll run up there in a second. As you can see, this is where you can sign up for your factions, and you've got a representative. So the Godless, I said earlier, they're actually going to be an interesting faction in this. They're actually going to be represented by Scopulus and Virago, because he's that Godless faction. For those of you who know him, he's actually quite tied to the opinion of the Godless and the Godless to him. So you can see they've each sent a champion here. Again, these are probably going to be updated a little bit. So you can sign up there, and then over here, if I run across, we're going to have like skilling events pop up like this, sort of like your crater experience. So you're going to have like, you can mine the bones, sort of chop the quills, which I'll show you in a second. And then up here we'll have some Tuska sort of super air root mobs for combat trainers. And then over here, again, all this is placeholder. You can see the clan islands. This is where we have our islands here, and the Astromancers sort of sending off groups as they go. We're not forcing groups, and anything you do on the islands isn't actually group forced. It's sort of like you can go on your own. You'll be with like up to 10 players, but everything you do is just you. It's just your contribution. You're not hindered by people slacking on the islands with you. It's just down to your personal contribution. But the stuff works well with groups, so it should be pretty cool. I can't go to the top of this spine because it's too spoiler heavy, but you can sort of see it's quite imposing, and as I head up a little bit, sort of those quills lead in, and as it comes out of the fog, I'm not going any further than that. There's something at the top there. But you can sort of see here we're going for this very bone sort of structure on the spine. Mod Pope, you might have seen on our last stream, is going to be animating a lot of this stuff, so you can see these quills here. There'll be your sort of woodcutting skilling node when it comes up. They'll be like swaying around. We can have debris flying past her. We're thinking about these bones being animated. So you'd walk up the middle, but either side of the bones, they sort of be grinding like shoulder blades. So it should really feel alive. There's going to be sort of like electric blue sort of pulsing through her. It's going to be quite exciting when it's come together. And as I said earlier, the concept you guys saw was actually a UV paint. So that's sort of the scale, the size and the colours that we're going with. And already, I think Mod Chili, our environment artist, he's been working on like a light map pass. This has taken great shape. We're expecting like within a week or two to see like the first slicker version of it, I imagine. Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
So we're back over here. Chris is going to come back and join us, but we have had a load of questions in the chat, and while Chris comes back over, we're going to answer a load of them. So the first one coming up straight from the Twitch chat: what will the requirements be for the to participate in the various elements of the event?
We're not going to have any hard requirements for it. It's just going to be show up to the event and get onto Tuska's back, talk to some of the Astromancers, sign up with a faction, and then off you go onto asteroids and stuff.
I'm sat here thinking that if the world's going to die, even the noobiest player,
basically it's like
Frodo,
everyone,
even the smallest person
everyone
can make
needs
a
to get
difference.
involved.
Yeah, so even the newbiest player.
Yeah, it's like all
like
world
Mod
events.
Simon, for example, is another one. Like he's terrible. So like even he could help. So no requirements, and everyone can.
No,
access
the whole
it
thing
from
about
the
world
event.
events has generally been accessibility. It's sort of like you show up, you take. It's like the creator. It's like everyone's there to deal with their own thing and their own objectives, but they're all there as a community thing. World events are about bringing people together, and this one especially because of like the scale of the threat, like we spoke about.
I have another one from
Pretty cool.
Slane, which asks, will the surface world be affected? Now, I don't know if you wanted to give away any spoilers on this, but it seems you
it'll
mentioned
be
earlier
affected to
that even if
start.
you kill her, what are you going to do with the corpse? So it kind of suggests that maybe
Alright, let's
something's gonna
let's
happen.
go with yes. It might not if the players decide that. That's all we can say really.
Okay.
Odds are yes.
It's very likely.
And it's going to be down to the players.
All right. Cool.
But like I said, we are committed for that to be an outcome. She's big and she can crash, and she might crash.
I did have a question about. There was a question I did notice about why the environment when you did the walkover was that kind of plain colour.
Oh, right,
If you
yeah.
wanted to explain that again,
Yeah,
just
so
to reiterate.
We actually had a time lapse. Did we show the time lapse?
No.
Can we show a bit of
but-
it, just really quick?
Yeah, we can show a little bit of it on the screen if you like.
Yeah,
We'll
just
do it
pass
over.
it for like
question.
20 seconds.
We'll just wait a second because it needs to play over again.
Yeah,
There's-
here we go.
There's
Come
there's
on.
5 seconds of darkness on the front of
Okay.
it before it comes on.
There we
but
go.
There we go.
it's-
So this is, imagine the red, oh, there you go, this is Mod Jambo. As you can see, he starts with a cube and he turns it into Tuska. So this is him
Tuska's head,
sculpting away, mega speed. I think this is about a 5-hour time lapse over the course
Well,
of
this was just a part from the middle of it that I took.
Oh, sorry,
but
true, yeah, it's not even that, yeah.
So
So you can see this, he uses this tool to sculpt it out and then it gets chopped up and put into the game and we can walk around. You sort of see he's just shaping out the bits and pieces. And imagine the red is the white in game. So the first thing we do obviously is the geometry, which is this model. And then when he saved out and chopped it up, the next stage, when they're happy with the model, we move on to be happy with the colours and the textures. So the guys will generally texture it up, so you'll see it like, it won't turn in this time lapse, but they'll make it like textured with the greens and the colour scheme we want. And then they use this technique to like project it, so it turns it into the polygon colours. So that white will then turn into the sort of colours of the textures, which is how low detail works. So
you can see the head added in there.
yeah,
as well,
just
at the
dumped
very
on the
end.
end.
Just
But yeah.
added into the body.
So the concept art that we showed earlier, that was a shot of her back, that was based on that sculpt that we saw there. It was just sort of painting over to get an idea of.
Yeah.
So
what
I
we
guess the nice thing is that when we show you that, it's not the final product, but you get to see kind of
Yeah,
like
everything
a
you've
work
seen
in
is
progress.
definitely work in progress.
Which,
And
yeah, it's nice to
constant
see
feedback.
the work in progress
Yeah,
rather
yeah,
than just see the end result. And you can obviously have input and feedback onto that as well, which is nice.
One of the big reasons we wanted to show you that quick walk around I just did was because hopefully in 5 weeks I'll stand on exactly the same environment. We'll have a little video of before, and then we'll hopefully be like, check it out now. It's all getting hit by lightning, and you know.
So we had to see the effect the graphics guys have had and put.
Yeah,
into stuff
exactly,
in.
exactly. This is like step 1, and then step 2 is like lighting, and then texturing. It's gonna take shape really well.
We had another question that came up in the Twitch chat, which was, will there be dragon tokens available from this world event like previous ones?
I believe so. That's the currency calculator
Yeah.
collector, isn't it? Yeah. So we're gonna do it in a
Yeah,
sort of
well,
vein.
there's going to be specific currency for the world event. So well, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it is going to be very
standard
consistent with
currency
the old
thing.
world events, like scalable remotes or rewards, for example. You know, the multiple tier emotes, stuff like that. We're not going to cover too much rewards, I guess, unless a question pops up specifically. But you can expect world event style rewards basically from this one as well.
A question from Twitter under the hashtag RSTV came up with, will the other RS gods be involved with the world event? Now, I know you kind of mentioned the shield, I don't know if you wanted to go over that again.
Yeah, well, that's our reason for why they're not physically getting involved. But yeah, the other ones that aren't specifically important to this story, so to speak, is whilst they really should be getting involved in a way, it's the whole deal of they've got a lot of other things going on right now. And we spoke to Mod Osborne about like the lore behind all this, because there's a lot of ties with a lot of places, and he was quite happy with the ones we've got. And you know, stuff like Zaros, he's got a lot of other things going on, for example, and he's deployed his at the end of, I've forgotten the name of the quest.
Fate of the Gods.
Fate of the Gods. Sorry, I already used to know the work in progress name. Yeah, so at the end of Fate of the Gods, he was sending off his people. He's got his own objectives to work on, so they won't be featuring heavily, but I'm sure we'll drop bits and pieces in where we can.
Cool. One that we always ask now is Iron Men, will they kind of get involved?
Some of it,
Yeah.
and some of
Yeah.
it not. It's basically the things that you would expect an Iron Man to be able to participate in. An Iron Man will be able to participate in.
Yeah, it's also worth mentioning, sorry, someone actually had the question, is it a safe event? As well timed. Yeah, it will be a safe event, so if you die in the areas, we'll have a customer resurrection mechanic. Also, combat is generally optional, so sort of like the World Event Creator again. So you got your skilling nodes and you've got your combatants coming in. On our island events, there'll be sort of, I think you saw it on the early concept of that island, there's like a lightning wisp thing.
Yeah, we saw it in the middle kind of.
Yeah,
coming
he's
together.
really cool, yeah. So you can choose to fight those, but they're not really aggressive. So again, if you want to be a combatant, that's cool. If you don't want to do it, there's lots of options. We tried to make at least 2 or 3 options on each event.
There's a lot of stuff going on with the islands. There's multiple islands, so as you go through, it's not just going to be, you're not just going to get one island to go to. You'll get one, and then you jump onto another one, and then you'll jump onto another one, and there's going to be different events on each one. They're all going to give different XP. We it was in the thread that we started. We asked people what XP they wanted, so we've tried to incorporate the
I think agility one.
Agility one, that one. So you'll be happy to know that we have got agility in the in the world event.
Yep.
Someone had asked about Zaros in the Twitch chat. Can we decide about Zaros? You just mentioned he's busy doing other things.
Yeah, I know it's a bit of a cop out, but he is a very involved character right now with the whole return, and we were just more comfortable with him just doing his own thing for this. Like I said, if it calls for it, we'll expand that more. We'll get mod put on the case, I'm sure.
And then someone asked about Virago. Is Virago essentially the godless? Is he like, if you're siding with Virago, are you siding with the godless?
Yes, is the short answer. he is godless aligned. Like I said earlier, we're trying to do something with interest with the godless because we feel like they're an interesting faction, but they haven't really got any standing in the world. Like
there's no
people know who Saradomin is.
There's no one to get behind.
Yeah, exactly. And these are just like I can't remember the guy's name. He's just a dude with like a machete thing, the current emissary. So sort of like, I feel like they could be more interested than they can, and apparently the players do too, because we follow this from the forum, and because of those ties with how they feel about gods, we thought it was a natural fit, and obviously he brings a lot to the table for a godless rep, and he's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Should be interesting.
So I guess for the most part, we've got one more question. We'll do the final question. Can we turn against the allied gods, e.g. Armadillo, during the world event from a Vandosian again? So someone else missing now.
And he wants to join Armadillo?
He wants to turn against
Armadillo.
Oh, right. Well,
I guess he wants to join Armadillo, then turn against someone.
It looks like all the Bandosians.
Right,
yeah.
I mean, sure.
It basically looks like all our Bandos followers just want to join Tuska. It's like, yeah, just go join Tuska.
I don't think we want to make the inter-god conflict a big part of the event. We want to focus on
Tuska
defeating Tuska rather than politicking.
However,
with daggers.
However, there is a big caveat there. There is an underlying god thing. Like we said, you do when you stab Tuska with that god spear we showed, you are stabbing it with like a god aligned spear. So you are stabbing in the name of your god, and we will be tracking that faction contribution, and that will also be involved in the consequence as well. So we're not letting that slide. It's taking a more of a back seat, but it's a back seat we're not forgetting about, and it will be involved in the consequences quite heavily.
It's like players as a whole and Gielinor as a whole can win if they deal more damage to Tuska, but any one particular faction will obviously deal the most damage, and within the kind of feud that's going on between the kind of gods, as they're all kind of reluctantly working together, and so that whichever one faction does do the most damage, they'll technically be the one that kind of comes out on top of that feud between them.
Yep. And then I guess
I said well done for avoiding spoilers. Congratulations, he's on it.
I said last question, but there's one more that is pretty big, and it's War Priest.
Someone got us.
War Priest.
Okay.
Show the concept.
Get the concept up.
Oh, here we go.
We had it ready. World Eater War
and
Priest.
here is basically our Tuska War Priest.
Oh, I knew we'd end up showing it. Someone had to ask.
Yeah, so rather than a armor for a faction, it's sort of an armor against a faction, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's, I guess, you mentioned rewards, so there's your reward. A new War Priest.
They spoiled it out of us.
I know, right? We nearly got it. It was the last question.
Yeah.
Okay, with that over, is there anything you want to add overall about Tuska, about the world event, where players can give you feedback, show you their ideas? I mean, you're very much in development, so changes can be made at the moment. So.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, there's a lot going on.
There's a lot of information you just gave across, and it seems really in depth, quite.
Yeah, I
big,
appreciate that. There's quite a lot of
large in scale. There's a lot to this world event, and it seems like it's a real.
A lot of the concept stage is kind of done now. We're getting really stuck into the development of it, and we're just getting all of our assets and stuff is just starting all to come together and looking good. And you saw the white box environment of Tuska's back and stuff, and that's the next stage of that is getting textured and stuff. So hopefully next time we'll have some really nice swanky graphical stuff to show.
But yeah, in the meantime, check out our forum thread.
So where can they find that on the official
Yeah, I think it's
forums
future
on
updates at the moment. Yeah,
future updates.
But yeah, we've got a forum thread there. We've also obviously all got our Twitters, and we'll just be communicating more. This is part of the stream. We wanted to spoil it out now because we appreciate being quiet since RuneFest, and it's certainly not been forgotten. Yes, we just wanted to get it out now, get the ball rolling. So obviously,
it's quite a big reveal. I
appreciate we've offloaded a lot of information.
Tuska's coming. And then there's been nothing.
We wanted to come to the stream with some meaty information because we know we've been silent and people know it's coming in this year now. So it's like it'd be nice to get some information out there. And we still have plenty to say as well in the future. So obviously stay tuned on the
It's
next
no longer
step.
Tuska is coming. Tuska is here.
Not quite. Yeah.
Well,
Okay, so we have two more really cool things to show off today. They are boss practice mode and demon flash mobs. Any particular order you want to take them in?
I've been talking a lot. Do you want to deeper?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, demon flash mobs. So, I'm going to send Dig off apparently, and he's going to show us demon flash mobs. So they have undergone a small rework. Do you want to really talk real quick about what the idea behind the rework and why?
Actually, it was sort of like a Hattie and Skull update versus demon flash mobs. We asked the players again last year where they wanted us to spend the effort, and people were generally more in favour of the boss practice mode, demon flash mobs. So Deg's been working on it. He's been changing like.
They came out about 2 years ago, and
yeah, they did.
They saw quite an initial.
They had that surge and then the slowdown, yeah. So he's just tried to reinvigorate a bit. We've got some drop table changes. We've got some difficulty issues.
We're very hard to take on one player at the moment.
Oh yeah, Mod Dean was basically at Deg's desk banging the table. Like it took me 20 minutes to solo this thing, and I got 2 toad flax or whatever. So a lot of this has been feedback driven, obviously, and Deg's put some new rewards in as well, which he's going to go over. I think it's coming out 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah, very soon now.
So there we go. Anyway, are we ready to jump over? We are going to head over to Mod.
Awesome. Hello. I'm not going to show any of the actual changes to demon flash mobs themselves because they look largely the same like they do in game. There's been some balance changes to make them a bit more rewarding and a bit friendlier, but I'm just going to show you the good stuff. I'm going to show the rewards. So I think the quickest thing to show is they now will drop title scrolls. This was sort of based on a suggestion from the forums. So now if, say, General Demon, the Frostborn, spawns, he will now have a chance to drop 2 items, one of which gives the title General, and one of which will give the title Frostborn. So you can see if I move my chat window a little bit, that's probably not big enough, but this character has gotten the obscured title, and I can get other ones, one for each of the demon prefixes and suffixes. And unlike most other sources of titles in the game, I'm going to say all, and then someone's going to correct me. These are completely tradable, and they're not a comp requirement, so you don't have to go and farm some content for hours and hours and hours, and it gave me an excuse to make them really rare. So the reward that's a bit better to show off now is they have a chance to drop this claw, which can create this summoning pouch. Oh! Yep, every time. I can't type very quickly when I'm on a stream. Every time. Here we go. There we go. There's that lovely looking demon. So unlike all familiars currently in the game, this one is aggressive. So if I start a fight, I'm punching this guy in the face, and then I just wander off, my demon's going to finish him off, and then he's just going to start a new fight. I'm just going to chill. Yeah, he is a thug, which no one heard Avatar say because his mic's probably off. Yeah, so there's also a ranged and magic version. So when this melee one kills a bunch of stuff, I'll get strength or attack XP. And I figured make a few extra versions so that if you want to train your ranged up, let's get them over here. You can do that as well. So I'll show them off because they each got a bit of a different model each. And they all have this neat special attack where if you go in an area with a lot of NPCs, I imagine in the live game you'd go with more exciting NPCs like this, but this is a place where I can find a lot of NPCs and not die. Come on. There we go. And that'll just aggro the entire area. Oh, right, okay. So the locations of spawns for demon flash mobs aren't changing. And these new familiars, they're all level 82 to make the pouch summon, and the ingredient to make them is tradable, as is the pouches and the scrolls, obviously. I'm just going to dismiss this guy and show off the last one. Yeah, and the claw. So the claw is a fairly common drop from the flash mob bosses. They drop about 5 of them outside of the wilderness and about 8 of them in a go inside the wilderness. I'm not going to give off the specific drop rates though. And the titles that I mentioned earlier are a lot rarer. They're about as rare. They're a bit more rare than the armor that you can currently get. Flash mobs. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So if you do have any Demon Flash Mobs questions, then you can ask those in the bottom as well. And we do have a few more, so Deg, run over quick.
I know he's answered those.
Oh, he's answered his ones already. He's answered them already. And do you want to jump back here? Go on, Brad. You can do this. If you do have any more questions, we will answer them as we go. But because there aren't any more at the moment, then we'll jump into boss practice mode, another fairly big one.
All right.
For that one, Chris is going to head off over and show us boss practice mode as well. This is something that. Do you want to, while he's getting ready, do you want to give us a real quick overview of it?
Well, it's basically...
It's quite self-explanatory,
yeah,
really.
Yeah, it's
boss practice mode.
Well, you can basically rent instances, safe instances, basically, to practice bosses.
Yeah. So
pretty
you
much.
won't lose any items or degrade things if you die, but anything you consume will still... It won't be refunded to you.
If you chug a full inventory of brews, you're going to lose that inventory of brews.
Yeah, you're going to lose that.
But you get
if
a
you
chance
die, you would keep the ones you had left over.
And no loot, of course. You don't get loot if you actually kill it.
And no experience either.
Chris L is ready. Chris L is ready to show off, so we're going to jump over and he's going to give you a little preview of the boss practice modes.
All right, so here we are. I usually pick on Bandos, because why not? Everyone does. So I did show this last stream, but there's a few cool things as well, which we've sort of finished it. For those of you who've been following Twitter, I tweeted a screenshot a week or two about our amazing new interface. So this is like the nice centralized interface you're going to see everywhere. It doesn't ask you all those questions back to back, and it remembers it. So if I make this instance with these settings, like if I want fastest, for example, fastest. So if I make that, the next time I come to any instance, it will remember my favorite settings. And if they're still applicable, it will apply them. Obviously, if I go to a Raxor with 100 people, it's going to cap it back down to 2. But it remembers your settings. If you farm the same boss a lot, it's going to be quite convenient for you to use. As you can see here, if a boss has practice mode or hard mode applicable, you can toggle it and you can start. It's basically just a nice, simple system that gets you straight into the fight. One of the cool things, obviously, is practice mode. So if we just tick that box, click start, we're now in a practice mode instance, and you can see the chat box will let you know that. It will tell you how long your instance has got left, the normal sort of stuff if you've used instances before. And then if you go, and like the guy said, there's currently a cost to this, like the same cost as the normal one, but you are paying for the convenience of practice mode. And we're still open to if we actually ship with that cost, because we might just let it be for free for practice mode, because you're not really getting XP or drops in practice mode. It's just about learning the fight. The cool thing about this as well is, again, if you've been following Twitter, one of the most exciting changes I've made is when you get a Bandos instance, for example, it says, oh, you've got 60 minutes until it runs out. And if you leave, it collapses at the moment, and then you have to pay again to go in. One big problem with this is a Raxor, for example. You teleport out of the fight, and then you have to start a new instance. That's a whole new set of money. So what I've changed here is, when you leave this instance, if you have more than 10 minutes left on your instance, it'll actually refire it for free with the remaining time. So like, if I just let him kill me, for example, and I rejoin it, it will say I've still got 55 minutes left, and it will keep letting you back in. So for a Raxor, it's going to be really convenient because you can teleport out, return, and go straight back into the fight. So you get your full hours out of it. Will practice mode count for Soul Reaper? No, we've turned off time kills boss kill counts, and actually Soul Reaper might. I know it doesn't for Slayer. I'll double check with Mod Harrison. I know he was confused about why he was getting XP the other day. It's like, no, you definitely should get XP. And it randomly happened that he had Dagonoff as a Slayer task, and he was killing the DK, so we've realised that. But yeah, so it should be pretty cool. As you can see, I'm about to die because I suck at Bandos apparently. Come on. Come on. There we go. Oh no, I've lost all my stuff. I didn't know how to fight Bandos. Oh wait, just kidding. So here you are. You spawn outside. Again, like the guy said, you've only lost what stuff you had in regards to degradation if I ate food. That's it basically. So yeah, go straight back in. I'm like, all right, I have another go Bandos. Click start. You hit rejoin, and if the system detects these settings match where you were, it'll let you back in. So hit rejoin. There you go. Oh, I should have my money pouch open, but no money gets deducted. And if you see the cost at the bottom there, it has got less than 60 minutes left because I have less than 60 minutes from my original cost. The really cool thing, if you think this is cool, it is cool. Okay. Really cool thing is, let's just say you've learned how to Bandos. Congratulations. You can untick practice mode and you hit rejoin again, and it still lets you into the normal mode on your original hour. So if you take half hour to learn how to boss and you still got half an hour left, you can go into the real thing at no extra cost for that hour. So it's pretty convenient, and it's got like nice settings that remember stuff like that. And obviously you got the hard mode as well. Cool. What else have we got? That was it. That was the most exciting stuff. I'll show you some other things though. Let's just get out of here because it's a bit dark. We also have this other thing, which is shipping with boss practice mode. So that's the general practice mode. You've got a lot of safety just to learn how to boss. All of the bosses should be on it. I'll double check that. Where's my other character? So if you hit F3, hit the beasts. So Araxi's obviously already on it. Barrage Brothers aren't because of the way they work. Rise of the Six is on it. Chaos Element isn't because he's in the wilderness. Zillian is obviously already on it. Court Beast has been added. Dagonoff Kings have been added. What? I'm getting a pointer. What?
Behind the webcam.
Oh, the interface is behind the webcam. Oh, who set that up? Edit mode. Sorry, hold on. It shouldn't be over there. Huh?
Drag that one.
It's not dragging. Ah. The things I do for you. There you go. So I was only going through the list, but basically we've added Court Beast, we've added Dagonoff Kings, we've added something else, Cowfight Queen. Cowfight King's already on it live. Exiled Cowfight King. Queen has been added because you guys wanted it. KBD's been added. And there's something else. QBD has been added. Technically it's already instanced, but it didn't work with practice mode, so she's still free to go and fight. It's just she's using this system now, so to support practice mode for those who want to learn it. Anything with existing instances like Legionnaires and Jad and the Kiln, because other than Legionnaires, those Zar ones are safe, so we're leaving those as is. Cool. While we're here, interface for those of you who weren't on the stream last time, you can see Araxi has been selected just because she's at the top. And we've added this new thing, so it tells you custom mechanics. So it says currently blocked tunnel is spider minions, which if you're fighting her in live should be correct. Go down to Virago. He's currently on team split. And what's the other one? Rise of the Six. And you can see here it tells you who's on left, who's on right. And then you can also click on the learn button. So wherever you are in the world, it unhides all of the tactics for the boss. So before you even try to take on the boss with the practice mode, you can sit here, have a little look at it, see what you think, and if an attack has an eyeball, you can click on it and it will show you what that attack's going to look like in the real thing. So if we click web shield, for example, she web shields. So that's pretty cool. The QBD looks awesome on that interface. And also I've expanded this interface. So here at the moment it only ever shows Arim. If we go down to, I don't know, Guthan's Throw, you can see it shows the brother that does it. So if there's multiple things in the boss fight, you'll see those. I think one of the cool things is like Zilliana has it. Yeah, look, you see she's got bodyguards, she's got magic attack, and then she's got like the hard mode only, shows the lightning, ultimate death. That's what it looks like. So you can learn a lot from the interface before you go in. The final thing we've got is a system where if you're fighting the real thing, so say let's just use Bandos. Say you're taking like a group of people that have never fought Bandos. If you have over 10 kills and anyone who has under 10 kills counts as like one person you're help training. So when the boss dies, if you've helped people get a kill, those people who are under 10 kill count on that boss, you'll get like a noob point, and then those points can be used to unlock stuff. It's purely optional, and we'll probably let people with like the final boss title have it for free, just because of the nature of that boss kill. Just they might be able to find the teams and whatnot. But you can see here, if you click on this guy, boss assistance, it shows you how many points you have, and they can go towards rewards. Let me just show you one of those. Hold on. I set this up on another account. Sorry. Let me show you the best one. What we got? So if you mod Harrison, you know what's coming. It's his favourite pet now. So the best one you got is Cornelius, our lovingly named tutorial owl, by the graphics artist. I don't know where they got Cornelius. There he is. So you can see he's pretty cool. He's got a little flappy hat. The guy's had too much fun animating this guy. So you've got some milestones. If you help like 25 people get kills, you get a title. If you help 100, you get like the mortarboard, the teacher's hat, and then there'll be an emote for halfway to completion. And then this guy's like the final reward. Again, it's purely optional. It's just for those people that are helping those people out. And then the idea being, if new people are having trouble finding teams because people get quite elitist about it at some points, this might help those elitists bring a few people in to help get the kills because they're earning their own rewards. Yeah, but that's boss practice mode. And for people that have been asking, because obviously I tweeted about it, you've got it out on the first week of March. I think it's the 7th or the 9th. I asked Mod Harrison before. So it is definitely coming. The queue guys are done. It is on the release schedule and be with you soon.
All right, that was awesome. Mod Chris is going to come back and chat with us. We have some questions and we have some more on Demon Flash Mobs as well, but we do have some on boss practice mode. One of them was the ETA to release, so that one just answered right there. Just to reiterate, it was the first week in March. However, Demon Flash Mobs. Will Demon Flash Mobs have more non-wieldy locations?
No, the locations for them are all staying the same. And to answer the next question, the summoning level is 82, because that was came up earlier.
Oh, can iMob do flash mobs?
I wasn't going to change that, but so our current policy is group bossing. Yeah, for Iron Men. At the moment, we don't allow group bossing for Iron Men, I think. So, going to count it.
It be as consistent as it is in life.
Yeah.
Next ones are on boss practice mode. Can we choose the rotation? So imagine...
I knew that was going to come up.
Imagine Araxor's on X rotation or Varaga's on X rotation. Can you choose it or do you have to go with the one that's currently live?
At the moment, it is currently the one that is on because I've made a lot of changes to this system, and as I said, the features I've put in at the moment I prioritise because I feel like convenience is paramount right now, like the whole getting your full hours out of it. I think a lot of people are excited by that, so that's what I focus on, getting the most polished. I do know people want to pick the rotations of the stuff. It can be done. I'll look at it.
Is it one of those questions of is it worth the time spent into that, or would you rather extra time spent into Tuska, for example?
Yeah, I think it definitely is Tuska at the moment. It's not something we'll say no to. It's possible, but it requires quite a lot of extra work on what we've done. Yeah. It's possible, but we're parked it for now. In lieu of the features we have, I think people would appreciate like this ease of access, the getting your money's worth, and just the general practice mode, which has been requested for years now, since like RuneFest 1. I remember a guy asking for practicing bosses. So we tried to put all that system in, but it's not something I'm averse to. When I get a moment, I'll probably have a play with it, but it's a pain.
So I'm asking, what loot will you get? Will you get normal loot? I believe you don't get any.
No, you don't get loot.
So you don't get loot. The idea is you practice. You not get drops.
The convenience of practice mode is the safety of it. So if you got loot in practice mode, I'm sure people would just AFK and just die because obviously you just die, run back in, and it's like there's no risk. Same
with experience, you said as well.
Yeah, no XP, no drops is what we're saying. Just the convenience. But like I said, if you do learn how to, as soon as you get your first kill or you get second kill locked down, by all means, hopefully you're ready for the real thing. So you can just jump straight in at no extra cost to try your first kill out.
Will we have to practice hard mode for any of the hard mode bosses?
It's possible, but not activated right now. We figured just because practice mode helping people who physically can't get into a team or the boss as it is, we're focusing on those guys. Ideally people doing hard mode probably know how to do normal mode. Okay. This is mainly for the people who don't or can't do normal mode right now.
In the playthrough you showed bandos as the practice mode. Do you need the 40 kill count still?
You do to get into the door, but at the moment it does cost you the 40 kills every time, but we're going to look at changing it, so if you die in a practice we'll reimburse you the 40.
Okay, so you have to get 40 once, but...
Yeah, you do need to get into it, but then we'll probably, if you die, we'll reimburse you the 40, so it breaks even all the time.
Do you lose your items in a Beast of Burden if you die?
Oh, I'd have to check. I'm pretty sure you don't. We'll make it so you don't. I'm sure we can retain your Beast of Burden.
And then obviously you lose. Someone's asking about consumables. We already said you lose your consumables.
Yeah, they will be.
That's part of it.
The main cost is the inventory. Basically, whatever you've eaten, drunk to do it is the cost.
Okay, and then.
Oh, is practice mode a safe death for hardcore Iron Man accounts? I'd have to check.
Yeah.
Harrison was talking about earlier. We'll make a decision one way or the other on it. I'd have to double check. Depends how harsh we want to be.
When Turks in live and find out.
No, I do know. I can't remember what way it is because we've changed it a few times because there's been a lot of feedback on that. I'll see which way it is and we'll get back to you on that.
Okay, so if we leave Araxi instance now, we can rejoin. We can rejoin that without having to pay again for normal kills.
Yeah. So this is what I said. This is the biggest convenience, obviously, in my eyes. Like you get to Araxi, you have to leave, and then when you click on the web again, the interface will load. You click rejoin. You got an out. If you got time left, you go straight back.
So you don't have to pay your money for your instance again.
No,
for the next kill.
no. As long as it's, I think I said as long as there's more than 10 minutes remaining, because in the last 10 minutes it could physically expire spawning. So you get the full 50 minutes of it.
Okay.
However, it is super cool because it works across logout and across server reboot. So even if you're during, if you're killing Araxi, and the countdown time has still got 5 minutes left, server reboots, you can just hit rejoin and it should refire it post reboot as well. So it remembers it all permanently.
What about practice mode with friends for group bosses?
Yeah, so if I make a practice mode instance, you guys can just join me like normal.
I guess that's how you teach a noob get your points.
Yeah. So it's stuff like Virag obviously is not a solo boss and he's on practice mode, so that would require us to go into, I make a practice mode instance, someone types my name in on the interface, they join me, then we go down and challenge Virago as normal, and if any of us die in that instance, we just get put back at the cave start.
Okay, well I think that's all of the main questions answered, because some of those we've answered already.
So there's a good one there.
Okay.
How will the instant system work in aggressive combat areas since the window will be closing combat? We did think about this. We've checked most of the areas. We had a few problems with the cow fights because there's that well. So what I've done is I've had a right-click option. I think I have to remember which one it is. I'm pretty sure the normal click option is what it is. Like usually it's climb down the well.
Okay.
And there's a right-click option for the custom session. And we found that you can there's 2 or 3 cow fights usually. So you can either kill them off once. Or you can go around the back, you can safe it. The biggest problem we had was the DKs, because anyone who's been to the DKs ever, as you run towards that ladder, the whole dungeon's I hate you. So what we did for that one is you can run past the ladder, probably like people used to do back in the day.
Yeah, everyone used to run past.
You used to run past, safe it, kill that one Dagon-off that always comes down. And what we've allowed you to do is you can right-click on the ladder. Like I said, there's a start custom session, and you can start at that one from a range.
Okay.
So as long as you there's probably that one straggler. Like I said, you kill him off, then you can just sort of range it from a distance, and you'll start it remotely, so to speak. So other than that, we've managed to get into every instance. So it should be combat friendly.
I guess there we go. That's it. So we have Tuska in the World Event, boss practice mode, and Demon Flash mobs, all in game shortly. The only thing we didn't mention ETA on is the Tuska. Can you give a spoiler on maybe the ETA on that?
I won't say specific dates, but we're going for early summer.
Okay, that's your goal at the minute then?
Yeah, we've got a lot to do and not a lot of time to do it. And then we've also got another big project on the very close horizon as well. So we're busy scrambling right now.
Can you go into the answer what it is you're looking to work on?
Just Fred, do you want the
give it
sign off on?
Go on, give it a 5 words. What are you going to be working on? Anything interesting? Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it too hard. Give it a
no. Well, before Christmas we mentioned it. So we are also still working on raids. They haven't gone away, and I think we might have some concept.
We did have another piece of concept art. If you want to show it.
Just to sign off.
Prepare your print screen button.
It's not a boss, to be fair.
No. This is.
I have it down titled as raids.
This is the race that the new race we'll be introducing with raids. So
cool. Good the gobies.
That's all we're going to say right now.
There we go. I guess
there'll be more of that in the future.
Yeah, more in the future. With that, then, thank you very much for showing off some of your cool stuff. Anything you want to plug, like Twitter accounts, forum threads, places you want feedback, anything really?
We've got, just a forum thread, future updates on the Tuska World Event stuff. Anything we've said here, feel free to post some questions there. We're probably going to be doing an update to that, because we realise we haven't actually posted, even though we lurk a lot on it, because we're quite busy, but we'll get some answers up there. And obviously Twitter, at Jagex, Chris L for me.
At JagexDeg.
And at Jagex Avatar.
And there we go. Thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure you follow the Twitch channel if you'd like to see more live streams like this with some cool content and some cool content spoilers of concepts. Also make sure you follow our Facebook and Twitter accounts. We have a BTS going up later this week, which will be really cool as well, with the month ahead. So you'll be able to see what's coming out in the month ahead as well for February this year. And also, I was asked to mention by Mod JD that there is a Friday giveaway. There's a giveaway most Fridays on the Twitter account where you can get yourself some cool concept art. And the reason being is that a lot of the concept art is of Virago. So this is kind of a boss themed.
Cool.
So it'd be signed by a lot of JMods, and you get some cool stuff that's often on there as well. So make sure you go and follow over there. But there'll be no RSTV next week, unfortunately, but we will be back the week after. So thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks a lot.